Our lecturer for the day is a lady by the name of Robertta Bobbie, and she runs a blog and a podcast called Love and Orgasms. Nisikia vizuri.
I write about sex and relationships. And basically what I do, I just talk about my real life experiences, the things I do, the things I go through, and I put them on my blog and my podcast. That's how the people who've always been following my blog know me as.
Guilty pleasure. That's how I got to know her.
So I started writing on Facebook notes, and my friends started reading, and they were like, yo, you should hop on the blog space. People are blogging now. It's much better. You can probably earn money from it. So for me, it's much more about the education. I'm just trying to grow. That's all I want. I want to grow, and I want everyone who follows me to grow with me, to grow emotionally, to grow spiritually, and also to grow sexually.
So another statistic I saw was very few women get orgasms. I came across that figure. Are we having the wrong sex? What's happening there? So unatusaidia aje mtu yangu? Ni sisi hatujui kazi. CEOs. Leo tunaongelea mambo ya sex and intimacy. Man, this will be the best class ever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another class. We're still filming at Longonot Place. Book your staycation. Luku kama imekubali ni Rajab as always. And you can tell how excited I am to get into this particular class because our lecturer for the day is a lady by the name of Robertta Bobbie, and she runs a blog and a podcast called Love and Orgasms. Nisikia vizuri. Yes, we're here to talk about sex and intimacy, and you're wondering, what does that have to do with what you guys talk about on this channel? As usual, I'm always out there looking for socialpreneurs, entrepreneurs who've been able to create a niche business in very niche spaces we haven't thought about. I appreciate that. I've always talked about my journey trying to create a business empire in the film world, and she has been able to create a whole business in the sex and intimacy world. Robertta Bobbie, karibu sana.
Hello.
What's up? You well?
I'm so happy to be here. When I was listening to you talk about me, I'm like, what? This is, what? It's so interesting. Like, keep going.
I'm sure for you probably started the blog post as a personal journal. Like, you're just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But now you're living off it. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to go into the details. But first of all, the name, Robertta Bobbie.
Yes. Where it came from.
Yes.
Okay, so interesting. So my name is Robertta.
All right.
Achieng Omondi.
Explains a lot, bwana. Yes, English is your mother tongue. Explains a lot.
Yeah.
Also umefurahi. Sorry. What of our camera guys?
Okay. So I'm from Suba, biologically. I've never been, but I hear it's very beautiful. I plan to go in December.
Nice.
So my name Robertta comes from, my dad's name is Robert.
Okay.
So we have this matchy thing. I was born when matching names was interesting.
Okay.
So my mom is Christine, my brother is Christian. My dad is Robert, and I'm Robertta. So Christine, Christian, Robert, and Robertta. And then the Bobbie is just, I literally just Googled it. Everyone I would introduce myself to would really butcher my name. They'd call me all sorts of names.
Right.
Robin, Lambeka, Rebecca. I've heard everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, what's short for Robertta?
Right.
I was different options, and I just chose Bobbie. Okay. Bobbie with an IE instead of Y to make it. But so everyone calls me Bobbie now.
Right.
So it's just stuck, Robertta Bobbie. That's what everyone calls me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there'd be this, amazing story.
No, most of my stories are pretty simple down. I think that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Because I try to be as relatable as possible. I try to show people that the normal things I go through, the normal things I do, it's just what everyone else does. There's nothing... People always... I mean, yes, there's always amazing, grand stories to every success. Yeah. But then some things are just... I just decided, and then it just happened, and I did it, and I went with it.
What does Robertta Bobbie do? Why do we know you? What's your claim to fame?
So, Robertta Bobbie. I like to introduce myself as a writer.
Okay.
I write about sex and relationships.
Right.
And basically what I do, I just talk about my real life experiences, the things I do, the things I go through, and I put them on my blog and my podcast.
Right.
It started as a blog. So that's how maybe the OG fans know me. That's how the people who've always been following my blog know me as.
Guilty pleasure. That's how I got to know her. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on Citizen TV every Tuesday morning.
Right.
On a social show where we talk about relationships and intimacy. So basically, that's my niche. Sex, relationships, intimacy stuff. That's what I'm a champion of. That's what I speak about.
Right.
That's what I try to educate on through especially personal experiences. So it's just, my work is basically just a journal of my own experiences.
Right.
And then it's just me sharing them. And then from there, learning together with my crowd, learning with my can I call them a fan base? Learning with my audience
With your
to
audience,
grow
yeah.
together. So I
Awesome.
share what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. We discuss solutions because there's spaces for that.
Right.
We discuss different experiences, different situations, and that's just how I learn more, and that's how I grow. So that's who I am. I'm a writer. I'm a podcaster. Very newly a businesswoman.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, and in the bathroom, a very good singer.
Ah, okay. There's a mic in front of you. Please, if you get the motivation, go for it.
It'll come.
How long have you been writing on your blog posts, at least?
For about 7-8 years now. Yeah, ever since I was around 21 when I was
Right.
in uni.
Okay.
That's when it started.
Right.
So I used to write on Facebook notes, sharing poems. So I describe myself as a writer because I write. I used to write songs. I used to write poems, stories. And everyone in high school especially, the English teachers always loved me because of my writing.
Right.
Anything English related, it used to be funny because it's a stereotype, because when you jaka, type of joke. But like, that's how it's always been. My writing, my speaking, and I never really realized it was a strength. I just used to think it was something normal. It's something everyone can do. It's just that people decide what they want to do. And what I've decided is I write. I like to write. So I started writing on Facebook notes. And my friends started reading and they were like, yo, you should hop on the blog space. People are blogging now. It's much better. You can probably earn money from it. It's easy access for everyone that you want to read. So how about trying it out? And you can put visual aids, you can post pictures and videos. So that's how it started out. I moved on to my WordPress account where I continued writing. And that's how the blog grew. It's been 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then blog, then now podcast. Yeah. When did you start the podcast?
In 2020.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it picked up really, really fast because the readers of the blog just hopped on to the podcast.
Right.
And something I try to do is remain very authentic because I'm not chasing anything. I'm not trying to be someone. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be rich. Ultimately, those are the consequences of doing your thing and sticking by your craft.
Absolutely.
But for me, it's just a very natural journey. I'm literally just learning. I'm just trying things out. They're working, they're failing.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm just growing as I grow with my audience.
Okay. And so your blog post is growing, your podcast is growing. Yeah. Then you start making some money. You're on TV.
Yeah.
So now you're starting to make money off this thing you thought was a hobby.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize, wait a minute, this could be a full-time thing that I'm doing? Or actually, tell us the first time you actually made money.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about. I was just telling someone this story the other day.
Right.
So this time my blog, so how it blew up is one day I just wrote a sex story. I mean, I write my daily mundane stuff. Like I was telling you, leo mtu alinikanyaga kwa matatu. Piss off. My shoes were white. And the comments are always filled with, yeah, me too. I hate it when that happens. Nini. So I realized people actually are reading my stuff. It doesn't matter how boring it is. There's an interest they have to it. Maybe it's my style of writing. Maybe it's the way I explain things. I don't know. But then, so organizations started reaching out. because I was writing about sex, and then I started getting invited to speak on TV shows. So I like, this is the girl who writes about sex and she's young.
Yeah.
Bring her on. So I started doing TV interviews, basically a media tour.
Right.
I was on magazines, I was in the newspapers. And this started about just right after, not so many years into me writing. This is 2-3 years into me writing.
All right.
So you see, I started gaining traction with my numbers already. And then one time it was about, so World AIDS Day is in December 1st. This is the day where they spread awareness about HIV, AIDS, get people to get tested. So this organization reached out to me and they were like, yo, we have this job for you. We'd like for you to write for us. And this is the pay, this is the nini. So we created a team. It was a team of young people around my age. Everyone there was an influencer and we were working together to coordinate a generation next. We were under Big Ted, you know Big Ted?
Yeah. Sure.
So it was all of us and we were working together. So that's, I think, the first biggest check I ever received. So when the money came, it was in the millions. And when the money came... I think I had really high expectations. I didn't know anything about taxes.
Yeah.
About CG outsourcing other people who we had to pay. CG doing what. I just knew the money comes, we're dividing it equally, splitting it. No savings. I don't care if I ever see you guys again. This is my big check. I'm bouncing. Yeah. But Big Ted was very instrumental in trying to tell us, yo, the money, this is the first big thing. And the money will keep coming. But this one is your test. You guys have to learn literacy ya do. Lazima mjue kusave. Lazima mjue kuinvest. Lazima mjue vile mnalipana. Jui do, lazima iende ilipe vitu zingine, tena irudi tena. Si ati mkilipwa, ni hivyo mna split, alafu inaisha mnangojea the next job, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about all that. And he warned us, he told us, stories za do mtakosana.
For sure.
So, but we were young. What do you mean? What are you trying to tell me, Ati? Save? What am I saving for? My mom pays everything that I need.
Right.
I can start, I can use the money. And that December, we got the huge payout. We went on a very nice vacation. The whole team.
YOLO.
And we blew the money. By the time we were coming back in like January, dozi ilikuwa zimeisha. Na tulikawia, we stayed for so long. And we rented out a really nice villa.
Sikafa nyenye.
And
yeah.
First of all, I don't know if I had ever been to Coast or it was my first time. So you can imagine the excitement. Like, this was it was so big to me. It was so nice. But by the time tulikuwa tunarudi January, we had no money left.
Of course.
Only the smart ones saved and invested or whatever. But I literally had no financial literacy at this point. But the good thing is these guys reached out because in February 13th is World Condoms Day and then 14th is Valentine's Day. So they still sort us out and they kept doing it for the jobs and stuff.
Right.
So at this time I was in uni, I think in second year. And I was like, why am I wasting time in school? I'm already making the money. And si ati nafanya kitu extra, nafanya tu vitu nimekuwa nikifanya. I'm just writing the blogs I've been writing. And I'm getting paid for it. That's the difference. But something that I realized happened over the years is I started chasing the money. Because now it stops being enough.
Right.
I have no literacy. I just know when money comes, I'm supposed to use it because sikuwa nimegrow up environment yenye I was like money was that available for me. So I think ilikuwa inanishtua that I can just go to a restaurant and buy a meal and eat it. I don't have to save for like the whole week to buy something for $150.
Yeah.
So I think ilikuwa interesting and that's how I started making money. That was my first big check. I think I was 21 and it was a lot of money.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. So, one, you are in a space that as Kenyans, we don't talk about a lot. Sex is not a very comfortable subject for a lot of Kenyans.
Very taboo.
Yeah, very taboo. I've never understood it. Everyone has to do it, Something I always ask whenever I'm doing the the TV shows that we do and the films, and we have a sex scene and everyone comes for us and they're like, hizi ni nini mnaonesha watoto wetu? And I've always asked this question. If your son or your daughter was brought to the house na your son amepatikana na mumama hapo nje, or would you rather your son aletwe kwa nyumba juu amedunga mtu kisu? They always go, afadhali tudili na hiyo kesi ya mumama. I'm like, but the films we have no issues about are the films with violent stuff.
Yes.
We watch a lot of action films where people are stabbing, shooting, killing each other.
Raping.
But you put a sex in, oh my God. You know, so we live in that community. And how are you navigating in that space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ni hypocrisy. Na ignorance.
Right.
And I don't say it in a bad way because that was once me. I was there as well. But something I really appreciate is from a very young age is I've always grown up in circumstances that have allowed me and encouraged me to be loud about what I believe in.
Right.
So if I trust something and I believe in it, I'm going to be loud about it. I don't back down. I'm not very shy. I'm very vocal and very bold. So I've always been one to not really care about people's opinions.
Right.
So I'm not very scared. I mean, something that gave me fear, I guess, starting out these discussions about sex was mostly what my mom thinks. Because my mom is my everything. I'm borderline obsessed with her. And I take her advice very seriously. I take her opinions very seriously. So, of course, my mom had the fear of a normal parent. You know, when you start talking about these things, people take you a certain way. They think you're loose, they think you're easy, or they think you're very promiscuous, or they think... But at the end of the day, people will think whatever. It doesn't matter. I already have a certain look. I'm covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm loud. I'm a woman. I'm black. Like, there's no escaping it.
Right.
Anything I say will always be attributed to, you know, you should tone it down because I'm a woman, or because I'm a black woman, or because, you know, so it's just that what people talk about me of is sex, which is something I'm very loud about. Otherwise, it could have been anything.
Right.
It could have been my skin color. It could have been anything. And people talk. So I think iyo kukua encouraged to be very confident.
Right.
It's what helps me not have the fear. So mostly, I'm not really scared of what people say about me online because I know I'm consistently working on improving myself.
Yeah.
Every chance I get. Even if I get questions about, you know, credibility. Like, something I realized is when I was starting out, I used to send out proposals to so many people. When I saw, kumbe, I can make money like this.
Yeah.
So now I started, you know, being professional and packaging my stuff and, you know, creating professional channels of communication. And these people would call me to meetings in the boardrooms, and the boardrooms were full of very professional dressed men. Those days at Asiku ataneza afford nguo poa, or I didn't know how to look good. I didn't know how to show up. But I used to show up na nilikuwa najibonga.
Yeah.
Anasema mi indo nadu. And they would never take me seriously. I've been rejected so many times. So many people have asked, what's your credibility? You're too young. What do you know about sex?
Yeah.
So for you to speak about sex, it means you sleep around a lot. Or, you know, you have sex with many people. Or they have this notion of me. But I really don't care because I'm not chasing all that. My main goal is growth. Right. I'm growing and I need the people around me to grow. Yeah. Because if we are all informed, if we're all educated, then our decisions are more informed. They're better. If I know about condoms and you're my friend and you know about condoms, right, it reduces the STDs and the HIV amongst us. Yeah. Because I could date someone, they could date someone you've dated, you could date them. It becomes a circle, then it becomes a web. But because mimi sikushare information yenye niko nayo ya condoms, I could have saved you. Yeah. We could have saved the other 5 people who are in this web of ours. So for me, it's much more about the education. I'm just trying to grow. That's all I want. I want to grow, and I want everyone who follows me to grow with me, to grow emotionally, to grow spiritually, and also to grow sexually. You're so on point. That thing about sex being a taboo in this country, and especially from the community I come from especially Kikuyus. By the way, Kikuyus, someone
gets HIV/AIDS, we never talk about it in the family. We will say someone is sick from TB or whatever, but we'll never mention it. And this year they released statistics, and Central Kenya was leading in the highest new number of infections,
Whoa.
HIV and AIDS. But I come from a community, we do not talk about sex, and it's hurting Kenyans. The other statistic I get is I have a video on demand platform called phillytv.com. Please check it out. Nunua cinema pale hivyo.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. And so of late I do a lot of research on video content and the content that Kenyans are watching. And I have another statistic for by January, Feb of 2023, that they rated the top 20 most viewed apps on the web, on the internet. Out of the 27 of them were porn sites. Kenyans are watching a lot of porn. So Kenyans are having a lot of sex. Are they having the right sex? Because we don't talk about it. So how do people know about sex? How do we learn about sex? From your experience, because now you've gotten to a point where you're doing consultancy, you're having one-on-one sessions. What are the common stories you've had about Kenyans and misconceptions about sex?
So mostly what I pick is where people are learning sex from is porn and their peers.
Kuna class ingine? I think we all learned about sex from porn.
Most of us. It's through porn and through our peers, through trying out, and then now we talk about it. You know, he did this to me, he ate my... You know, like it's just amongst us talking to each other. But there's no class where you go and the lessons are very personalized. Because first of all, our bodies are very, very different. So the things you started doing, the things you started learning at maybe 9 years old, someone did at 25. Just already the experience throws you off. The information that you have. What do you know about sex? Most times growing up, the most we knew about sex was what was in the textbooks. So if something wasn't really, okay, at least when I was in school, siki tambo sana, but like, we didn't really have access to like Google things off the phone real quick. You had to go to the cyber cafe for that. And are you going to go to the cyber cafe to Google, how to have sex? It's weird. It wasn't something that was happening. So stories zote zilikuwa from the media, what you see on TV, you see there's a sex scene and it's steamy, and then anamweka kwa wall, and then anaruka kwa bed, you know. So you grow up thinking that's what sex is. And then you go to porn and it's hard and rough and meany, and then, but you have to realize that everyone is very different. We're different as human beings. We're different in gender. We're different with our upbringing. We're different with things we like, things we don't like. So there was no space where sex education can be very, very personalized according to you, according to like Phil. What do you like? What are you into? And sometimes people, I feel like what you asked me, are people having the right sex? According to them, with the level of information that they have, probably. But there's so much more to sex. And the funny thing is there's so much more to sex that isn't even sexual. There's so many things that we need to learn about, like communication, basic communication, things like aftercare, things about what hormones are produced when you do what, when, like what are your erotic zones, what gets you off. Maybe saa ingine demu yako anapenda tu ukimwosha vyombo. Na wewe unanunua maua kila siku. You don't because it's sex is very personal. It's very individual. So you have to really study someone, and before you can study someone, they have to study themselves. With yourself. That's why what I speak about is not just sex, it's relationships and sex. It's intrapersonal relationships. It starts from you. We ni nani? Umetoka wapi? Unafanyanga nini kila siku? Una like nini? Mbona haulaiki? Because all these decisions inform the person that you become, and it projects into all your other relationships, especially sexual as well. So I teach people how to love themselves from a very self space, because that's the best way to know who you are and what you like. And it translates into the bedroom. It removes all these things that we're copying and all these things. Sometimes the jama just wants to be kissed on all over the body, from top to bottom. But it's been packaged as a feminized thing. Like, no, men don't like kisses. Bro, you can't know unless like you learn about it or you hear about it. Sometimes you just want to be hugged. Like now I'm realizing a lot of people are confusing intimacy with romance, of which especially men do not have the open spaces to be very emotional, to speak about their emotions. But many are taking the intentional deliberation to learn about all these things. But for many, many years, men are expected to just be men and like get shit done and know everything. But I'm happy that we're starting to change the narrative. People are starting to become emotionally present, to learn more about themselves, to learn more about what they like. And it helps. It helps because it translates in all your relationships.
Oh, yeah. For sure. What's the difference? Intimacy and romance?
And romance. Oh, yeah, I was going to get to it.
Right.
So most people, love and being needed, feeling like you need someone, it's a very intrinsic need. It's very innate for every human being.
Right.
But because of capitalism and patriarchy, ni kama tunaanza kufanywa kufeel ni kama ni weird kutaka kupendwa. Nika haufai kuitisha mapenzi.
Siku hizi utaitwa simpa mtu yangu.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's a very natural need. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. You need to be loved. You need to be kissed on. You need to listen to affirmations and assurance. You need someone to tell you, I love you and I trust you and I believe you and I really, really appreciate you. And that's the romance. Romance can be found in friendships.
Right.
With your mother. It's a basic care. The basic kukununulia maua. Si juu nataka kukudishi. Ni juu nakulike na we ni mse mzuri.
Right.
Most people lack romance and they're trying to substitute it with sex. With intimacy. Because that's the only time anyone touches them.
Yeah.
Like most men, even in the room, if you asked, when is the last time someone touched you? When is the last time when they were having sex?
That's true. That's true.
Because nobody just comes to touch you and tell you, yo, feel. That's a very basic need. We need touch.
On that point, sorry to cut you short.
It's okay.
It's a convo that we were having somewhere else. And people were like, hey, what's happening? Mbona all of a sudden you drive through Kilimani, Westi, siku hizi kuna billboards zote za the massage parlors.
Yeah,
and someone came up with that. They're like, a lot of these things are popping up because there's a need for men to be touched. And touch is part
even
of
in
intimacy. Even in the barber shop. Siku hizi huwezi enda kwa kinyozi pale hakuna madama na kumassage.
So massage you hadi chest.
Bana. Kumbe we are starved.
It is.
Yes.
But nobody's telling you guys. Nobody's telling you men. Nobody's telling you as a man, wanting to be touched is very normal. That's basic. You need basic friendship. But sisi as women, we do it for each other all the time.
Right.
We're always oiling each other's hairs. We're always touching.
Yeah.
We're always holding each other, hugging. It's okay for us to sleep in the same bed and cuddle.
Toxic masculinity inanisumbua.
Yeah, if you did that with your boy, someone would be like... But let me tell you, men who are very masculine, very healthy in their masculinity, it doesn't waver anything.
Right.
It doesn't change anything. You're in pink. Someone would say, oh my God, he's wearing pink. But does it change who you are as a man? No. It doesn't change who you are as a man. You should be okay to... Even holding hands. Even holding each other while walking as men. These things are very, very basic. But we try to put sexual innuendo into it, and then it becomes weird. Now you're a man who's touch deprived. Nobody has touched you for 2 years. You're wondering why you're so frustrated. Nobody has even called you to just check up on you. Hizo ndo hizo maromance zenye tuna need. And you cannot substitute it with sex. It doesn't matter how many people you sleep with, how many times you sleep with them, how much sex you get. At the end of the day, you go to bed alone and you're in your bed and you realize, yo, I'm actually really lonely. Like, kuna mse ananipenda kweli. Niko nao mademu wote na nawadishi, lakini hata hakuna hata hiyo space ya communication. Like I was saying, I did an interview a few weeks back and I was talking about how because of how men have not really been socialized to be emotional and to show up as themselves,
Right.
it's very difficult for you guys to say when you need something.
That is true.
So even asking for money, even asking a woman for money is like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But my question is, why are you sleeping with someone you can't ask for 500 bob? This goes both ways, as a woman and as a man.
True.
Why are you putting your body without a condom into someone that you can't even tell, manze sina food kwa keja. Si ukikama upstairs ukamtu na mkate. Si ukate skuma pale chini ambao niko na unga. Come tukule ugali na.
Mom.
Why?
It's again another convo is having somewhere else. I think one of the, there are a lot of these, they call them macho men, or I know there's a name, Imeni Escape, but right now online, this thing of you not being a simp, you not showing affection to women and vice versa. I think we're really killing something deep in us. Because now we can't show affection.
And it sucks.
Yeah, I can't show affection. I'll be called a simp. I'll be called, yeah.
It means you care also too much about other people's opinions. Because for me, it's like how I define my femininity.
Yeah.
Like, before I came here, I was thinking of what to wear. I was going through my closet. I was thinking, what do I wear? And then my mom is the one who dresses me for most stuff. Because I have the worst fashion sense.
For real?
Yeah, I can't really put an outfit together.
Is that even possible? I thought like every chick is born with that sense.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
It's so difficult for me. So even when I'm shopping, I buy like 2 pieces, like a top and pants, so that they're already matched. I can just wear them together. Or it's a full dress, so it's just one outfit.
Right.
But my mom is the one who puts my outfits, especially for TV, together. So I was thinking, I should probably wear a dress because a dress, it makes me more feminine. And because I know how the feminine and masculine energy is, I know how people receive me when I'm in a dress.
Oh, yeah.
They're kinder to me. They're sweeter.
Oh, that's true.
They want to help faster. I could say, can I get a glass of water? All the men in the room run to get the glass of water. It's not because of who I am.
No.
It's not because I'm beautiful. I mean, yes, hizo vitu zinachangia. But it's because of my energy.
That's true.
It's because of how I show up. So I knew a dress is probably, But then I decided, why? Whether I wear a dress or pants, my femininity is intact.
Yeah.
Who I am as a woman is who I am as a woman.
Right.
That energy is still going to be felt.
Oh, yeah.
When I walk into a room, it's just who I am. So it doesn't change with whatever I'm wearing. So my point for all this is to say that you have to be very confident in self. You have to define masculinity for yourself.
Right.
And I try to tell men, I always ask this question.
Yeah. Go ahead, ask.
Like in this room, how many people here can say their dads were very present? And I don't mean in the house, ati alikuwa hapo kwa keja. I mean your dad was there. He knows your best friend. He paid all your bills. You saw him being affectionate with your mom. You saw how loving he was. You saw how kind he was. And he really just made you, wow, that's a really great man. How many?
We?
Na tuko wangapi? Tuko karibu 10. I'm not saying that to say men are bad people. I'm a men, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show you the effects of what men not being present does to us. We need you guys. We need you guys to be present emotionally. So define masculinity for yourself because it affects the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
It affects the boys. And then the boys, because they don't grow up with a strong figure who shows them how to be kind to women. That's why now there's those conversations on Twitter about sijui a simp.
Yeah.
What's a simp? Mimi kwa circle ni yenye nime curate for myself, the men are so kind, so thoughtful, so sweet. The men extend grace to each other, not even just to us, the women. I see the kind of men, how they treat other women. Whether it's women they're interested in, whether it's women they don't find attractive, that's something no one can ever teach you. That's something you see from your father.
That's
That's something you learn from home. Then when people are having these discussions for gender wars, I don't even get it because I'm not around such people. I grew up in a house where my mom is the breadwinner.
Okay.
She paid for everything. She did everything. Hata panty nimevaa ni alibai. Everything, like my mom did everything.
Yeah.
But my dad, he's very present in the home. He'll do the dishes. He'll make for us dinner. So I never really had ati men are supposed to do this. Women, it makes you less of a woman. It makes you less of a man. I mean, I also see how it affects the energy balance.
Yeah.
But my point is to say that you can define masculinity for yourself.
Right.
Being kind to women is not... I don't know why they make it look like women are taking from you, but we need you guys to show up for us. You see how us, we love men. Have you ever seen a woman who's in love? My man. You can't tell her anything.
My man.
You can't.
Yeah.
I need men to know that we need them to show up that way so that we can trust them. We need you guys. It's not a competition. It's not making the money, washing the... Hizo ni conversations are tupendane tu. Yeah.
Oof. Oh man, love and orgasms.
Yeah.
So we've dwelt on the love. Let's go to the orgasms.
Yeah.
So another statistic I saw was, I forget the exact figure, but very few women get orgasms. I came across that figure, and that's why I asked before, are we having the wrong sex? What's happening there? And because I know these are convos for you, like, they happen every day.
Yes.
Yeah. So unatusaidia aje mtu yangu? Ni sisi hatujui kazi, or like you said, even women themselves don't know their bodies that well. What's happening there?
Ni sisi wote. Basically, we have to both take responsibility. And I think it starts with the lack of awareness of intimacy and sex. We do not have enough information. And also it boils down to just how you grew up, like your childhood traumas and stuff. But I'd like to say, especially for heterosexual women, this is women who predominantly have sexual relations with men.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to achieve orgasms. And the women are starting to speak out now or recently. Because as women especially, we're taught to dumb down. You know, we're told you don't have to be vocal, you don't have to speak about it. That's why so many women fake the leg shakes and the and the moaning and stuff. But it's to protect the male ego. Mostly. We do it because we care. But then you start to realize that the more we're not being honest about it, ni sisi tunasuffer.
Yeah.
Tunaendelea kupretend na kuna msi anajua Kenya anafanya. So I like to take sex as math. In the simplest of ways, in that basically in anything that you do, I just use math in that the more you practice, the more you do something, the better you get at it. The more you understand. You have to seek the information intentionally. You don't just stumble upon vagina and then you know everything.
That's true.
Even for me, myself, I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm still trying out new stuff. And I found out about sex relatively very, very early. When I was very young, even before I was a teenager. And I found out about masturbation when I was also very, very young. And I didn't know all these things, but I was doing them because it gave me a good feeling. But nobody told me there's a clitoris. When you rub it, you get wet. The wetness is this. It's also taboo because that shouldn't be happening. Something is wrong with you.
Right.
Then you can't ask your mom. Who are you going to ask?
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think... Other than, I'm just going to call it ignorance, because at some point, ukisha kwa adult, unafaa ukwe na hiyo willingness ya kwenda kuseek hiyo information, ya vitu zenye zina matter kwa life yako. Ni venye unaweza tutaka kuget a haircut.
Yeah.
You'll go look which baba, what services do they offer. It's just about sex.
Right.
Learn about your body, about what you like. Fight hizo traumas zako za, my mom never touched me, I don't like being touched. Because how else will you be able to show up very, very fully for your sexual partner? I see people do these casual sex things. They call them situationships.
Yeah.
And you can't even... I like your...
No, I've reacted like that because hapa nje kwa streets nimepata
na zinauma hata kuliko relationships. Yeah, and guys, guys are having sex but ati mkishadishana kila mtu anaenda home. What about the aftercare? Like,
me call me old school. That thing doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
At all.
I used to think I was weird for demanding these things because I never used to understand. Wezi hata ni call kujua nimefika home fiti. Hata hatukutumia condom, sina do, ntabaiaje hizo P2 pills. Hata P2 ni nini?
Yeah.
Hata sikukuwa najua P2 ni nini. Unajua, na siwezi uliza madhangu. Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you start having that feeling for, I let this man touch my body. I let him. And for us women, it's actually a really big deal.
Oh, it is.
Even for me to just let you see me naked.
Yeah.
It needs a lot of trust.
Right.
A lot of comfort. And another reason we don't achieve these orgasms is if a woman is not comfortable, if she doesn't feel safe with you, it's never going to happen. It doesn't matter whether you have the biggest dick in the whole world or you're the richest man or you're so handsome, no one can resist you. If she doesn't feel safe and comfortable, she's probably faking it. Because for us, it takes everything. It's a very emotional, spiritual, physical situation. So it's very immersive. I have to feel like I can trust you. I have to feel like you'll protect me through whatever. And women are so scared of saying these things because they're scared. If I tell him, he'll stop talking to me. Yeah. Because he just wants something casual. He doesn't want me to call him all the time, so I won't tell him what I need. So you see, it makes Sisi her to achieve his orgasms. Yeah. And then it makes the men keep going, thinking they're doing something right because they have to be doing something right to be getting all these women. Yeah. But most times it's just that maybe even the women you're sleeping with, they just don't have self-esteem. Or they don't like themselves enough to know what they want. True. And you see, when I talk about such things, about men showing up emotionally, people always try to plaster in the financial parts of like, oh, sasa nisipokubaiya flowers, hautalala na mimi. It's not about that. Because I've been with men who are not financially well off, even when I was younger. Yeah. Na kitambo kukatiana was so genuine. It was about nikuzindi, unizindi, tunazindiana, tunarudi, it was so cute. And we used to write each other letters. Right. Sijui venye watu kukatiana siku hizi, but hivyo tunomi mtaka kukatiwa bado. The sweet notes and the thoughtful gifts. Yeah. And you could see the intention behind men, whether they were faking it or not, it helps. It helps with the safety. Yeah. So now when we're in bed, I'm able to do hizo mastingo zote. Because I'm not thinking, oh, he's going to see my stretch marks. No. I feel comfortable. I know you love my body the way it is. I know you respect me as a human being. I know you care for me as a woman who's about to have sex with you. So it makes everything else so easy. I'm not thinking, can he give me an STD? I'm not thinking those things because I'm here with you. Right. But if we can't even trust each other, like I gave the example, haujalipa rent, hauna chakula kwa keja. But because you're a man, you can't tell that she's coming to your house to sleep with you. You can't even tell her, si upitie supa ukamna maziwa. You can't tell her why. Because you're a man. You're not emotional. Right. But you're suffering. How are you guys ever going to achieve the kind of sexual circumstance that feels very, very safe? Oof. How? Yo. Imekuwa therapy session plus, just, I sit here, I'm in awe because Business 101, the first thing they tell you is identify a need and then get a solution for that need and then monetize it. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I think you have solved and cracked one of the biggest needs that every single human being on this planet needs. And Manze, I'm just happy I'm at a place where I can contact you. So when you start raking in the billions, please, sinisahau. I know I'll have to go through a couple of PAs. Talk to my manager. And just the world that you're in and the empire you're about to create is going to take you to spaces that, just on the other extreme level. And I'm wondering how you're maintaining that balance because,
how do you still maintain your content to be educational and respectful at the same time, so that now you're not now borderline doing porn, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. No one has actually asked me that question. Because I think most of the time I really don't think about the repercussions of it. There's something Beyonce said.
Yeah.
Once you put out your art out there, there's nothing else you can do about it. It's
Right.
out. You can recall it, yes, but like ishatoka.
Ishatoka, that's true.
Venye watu watai understand na venye watai perceive na venye watai take inaweza kuwa very different from how you meant for it to come out. So something I do for myself is I stay authentic. I know I'm doing explicit content because I'm getting into the nook and cranny of like alinipindua kafanya hivi. But I need to create very realistic scenarios for everyone so that you understand that these are things that happen. This is how sex is had. This is what happens when sex is happening. So I'm not really trying to sell porn. I'm not making people pay for my sex or something like that.
Right.
I'm just talking about normal things that anyone would talk about.
Yeah.
The difference is I have a platform.
Right.
And that people are following me for it. That's the only difference. So I'm just trying to have real conversations bila kusugarcoat. So if you perceive it as me selling porn, I don't know, maybe it could be true. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's true. People wank to my stuff.
Oof.
And that's
be a
not
very
something,
good writer.
That's not something I can control.
Yeah.
But people wank to books as well.
Right. That's true.
There's books with amazing sex scenes. It's out there.
Right.
There's storytellers. They put it in the songs. Talk about sloppy, whatever. It's everywhere.
Wap.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
The difference is the story is probably more relatable because it's real.
Yeah.
And it's about me. And I can answer questions in real time about it. But I'm not trying to sell porn. I'm just trying to talk about things as they are. So that someone can pick it up and ask me a question.
Yeah.
It's in the simple things as kuvaa condom. Nani alikufundisha kuvaa condom?
Kulikuwa na hiyo leaflet
Ile
hapo nyuma.
brochure.
Hiyo brochure.
But nobody really did for you like a
Na
visual.
aje sasa saa ngapi wapi tukifanya nini?
Did you try it together as boys in the locker room? Like,
Aje.
this is how we do it, boys.
Ay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, so how else are you, do you think you know how to wear a condom correctly? Like, can you, for 100% sure, if I brought a class here, you would demonstrate? Yes, you know,
No,
but
yeah.
like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the gap I'm trying to fill. Those are the conversations I'm trying to have. Someone will read the blog and say, oh, there she used a condom. What's a condom? Let me go learn about condoms.
Right.
I realize on my audience, I have people as young as 18. I mean, I put the age cap as 18 and above.
Yeah.
But the kids now, they're so learned and they're so fast and they're so exposed. Meaning we need to have these conversations. Very personalized.
Very personalized.
Kuna hiyo general information yenye iko kwa textbooks na kwa internet. But kuna vitu watu wanaogopa kuuliza. And that's just why I'm trying to create that space for people to have these conversations. Not just with me, but amongst your peers as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm always sure after I leave any room, people start asking like,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for the banter after this with the crew. Oh, absolutely. You're so spot on about, putting out your story out there, your art out there.
Yeah.
I do a lot of TV shows and films, and some of them we incorporate a lot of sex scenes. And, for me, as a filmmaker, it's a story I'm telling. If I'm telling a story about a relationship, then most natural thing is in a relationship, there's sex. So if I'm showing it, I need to show it on TV.
Yeah.
I can't, and I will always get blowback from it. It's always 50-50. There are people who are like, we get it. And there's 50% you're like, mnaharibu watoto, mshindwe.
It's too much.
Yeah, so you're right about the perceptions. You're so open about your experiences and the stories that you write. mtu yangu, how do you navigate dating? Because mi mtu yangu inaweza niingiza baridi juu, how do I approach you? Alafu nikijipata kwa blog vile niliangusha mechi na 1 minute. Have you found that your content now coming to your personal life and your work affects your personal relationships?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Because kitambo sikukuwa naijibu juu sikukuwa na enough data, but now
now you do.
Now, because I also talk. Okay, so first of all, most of the people I date, they know me before they meet me in some way. Maybe they've been followers of my blog,
right?
And they try to reach out. That's how I meet people mostly, because I'm such an introvert. So mostly when I leave the house, it's just for work,
right?
And I meet people within work spaces for things I have to do. So something that I learned very early on is that what I'm doing will always make people have a perception of me before they even meet me. They think I'm this wild girl who does wild things. And I won't confirm whether it's true or not. But
please check out her blog. Then kuja utupatie maoni.
But we have these conversations. And I always say, I'm very big on curating my communities.
Yeah.
Everyone I hang around, if you ever see me around someone, that person was very handpicked. My friendships are very intentional. Okay. I don't just hang around anyone. I don't just talk to everybody. Na si maringo ama atinini. It's because I'm a very open person. Ukiongea na mi 10 minutes ndakwambia kila kitu. Utajua di jina ya shosho yangu.
Wow.
And because I know that it can be a vulnerability.
Yeah,
so I'm very careful around the people I'm with. So it helps with the dating as well, because I only date people who are my friends. I only date people I've known for a while, people I genuinely care about. And I'm very monogamous. So ultimately, those are the only kind of people I can have sex with.
Right.
I don't do a lot of I don't do casual sex or like the situationship stuff or Nini. So you see, sex for me, it has to be very safe. I know what gets me on. Right. I've already tried all these things. Nisha eliminate. Najwa. Mimi siezi kama I don't know that guy.
Right.
If I don't feel safe, if he's not kind to me, I'm not sexually attracted to him.
Right.
So it helps me. I'm very intentional with curating these spaces for myself. And we have these conversations even before we get to the sex part. We talk and talk and talk. And most of the people I date are just like me or better than me in levels of understanding or intelligence. So when we have these conversations, they have the option to be written about or not.
Yeah.
But most of them, we just talk. It's about, babe, I didn't like what you said here. Okay, fine. And it's open for them to tell me how they feel, because I would never write about someone without their consent.
Yeah.
And even in the way I write them, you would never really know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Or because my personal relationships are not very public. Even with my family, I try to keep everything about my family and the people I know,
of course,
private.
Right.
So unless it's a work thing, it's very difficult for anyone to know what I'm doing or where I am or what I'm talking about. But that's intentional, because I don't want to have to take opinions from people about my life. And I have to protect my sexual partners, especially because I write about them and I talk about them.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So they really don't have issues with it. And if they do, it's an open forum to have conversations about it. Because I talk about real things. And something I love is that they actually support me in this. Even if it's that story at 1 minute man. Let's talk about it. It happens. It's not a one-off situation. This is something that happens to everyone. So let's dig into it. Why? Why did it happen? Was it because we were fighting earlier? Or is it because he had missed me so much? Or like, what is it? Let's get into the psychology of it.
Right.
Let's understand, why does it happen? People feel like they're not enough when it happens to them, or like they're less of a man, it affects them as. Let's have those conversations. So I think I'm blessed. Can I say blessed? Or like, I love it that it's easy for me to have these conversations.
Yeah, for sure. Oof. What's your future plans? How big are you dreaming? How big are you thinking of taking this? What does that look like for you?
How big? I really love the questions you're asking me today, Phil.
Yeah.
How I answer it might be controversial, but I think I've achieved everything I wanted.
Okay.
And I'm not speaking from a monetarily value, but this is all I wanted. I just wanted to create a space where we're having conversations.
Right.
That's fine by me. Whether it's me steering the conversations or it's someone else who's decided, Bobby is doing it, let me do it as well. Or whether I'm on TV talking about it, I've done my part. I'm content. I'm happy.
Right.
But of course, the bills have to be paid.
Yeah.
And, things have to be done. But I think my goal in all of this is to just hold the hands of the people who are looking up to me. And I've been able to do that over and over and over. And even now with the one-on-one sessions that I'm having, I just branched out into my own practice of the love and orgasm.
Oh, please talk about it. Please,
Yeah.
shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me
Go
just
for
say,
it.
I got off employment 4 days ago.
Okay.
Thursday was my last day. Ata sijui leo ni lini. It's been a week.
Yeah.
And they had to let me go at my previous workplace.
All right.
And I was so scared. Because I was going to negotiate my contract. I was like, I need more money. So nilikuwa nishajipanga hiyo meeting.
Yeah.
Willis, I've seen Willis Raburu has been on the show.
Yes.
So Willis is a very good friend of mine.
Right.
And it was just, we used to do the show on Citizen together before he left. And Willis was just preparing for a similar meeting at RMS, and I was preparing for a similar meeting as well. So we were sharing notes, and he had prepped me, and he had told me, this is what you do. Akanianisha the stats. So I was prepared when I went for that meeting. I knew I was gonna negotiate my salary. It's gonna get bumped upwards. These guys just told me, we've had you, but we can't afford you.
It gets there.
I was scared. The first feeling I got was, shit, how am I going to pay my rent?
Yeah.
How am I going to pay my rent? Like, how am I going to afford my lifestyle? The way I like nice things and I'm always buying
baby
things.
girl
Like,
lifestyle,
how am
man.
I going to do it anymore?
Yeah.
And then the next feeling I got was relief. I was like, finally, this is the chance I needed. Because if I don't jump now, when?
True.
If I don't make love and orgasms what I wanted it to be, when?
Right.
I need for it to be a space where people can reach out, where I can preempt these conversations, I can prompt these conversations, make people start talking about them. And I was like, I've gone to school, I've done all these things, I'm certified now, so let me just be serious about my craft.
Right.
And so I decided, okay, fine, this is guesswork, but we're gonna do it. So how I've been earning money from love and orgasms is a lot of ad revenue on the blog.
All right.
Which is really, really good, especially for sexual content.
Yeah.
It's good, but with business.
Yeah.
You have money, sometimes you don't have money.
True.
The podcast is a bit more consistent because it's pay-per-view. It's the more hears I get, the more views I get, the more money I get, and I earn in dollars. So that's a really, really good
Plus.
thing.
Yeah.
So something I'm learning is multiple streams of income, different ways
Oh yeah, sisi wote tuko hapa.
Yeah.
It's the only way to survive right
to get
now.
money. And I'm just happy that all of mine are in the same, it's in the same niche. It's the same things I'm doing.
Right.
I'm on TV. I'm doing my own podcast and blog.
Yeah.
I'm doing talks here. I'm giving one-on-one sessions. I'm available for bachelorette parties.
Oh, wow.
For any sort of workshop events that people would feel is appropriate for me to come and speak at. So you see, all this investing in myself, it has all come to make sense in the end.
Full circle.
And when I was doing them, it was just
Random.
it
Looked
was
random.
Let me just start writing. Let me learn how to speak. Let me go to school and learn psychology. Let me do this, and then everything is starting to come
Full circle.
out together.
I keep saying, by the way, there's no work that you put out there that goes to waste. Everything you do out there, it's building to something. You might need that particular skill 10 years from now, but it's going to help you.
Always.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the best. And on the link, we're going to put a link to her blog. And if you want to reach out, how can they reach out to you? What are your Yeah.
So
Handles.
So on social media,
Yeah.
across all platforms, mpaka LinkedIn.
Where?
Ni Robertta Bobbie.
Okay.
That's ROBERTTA BOBBIE.
Okay.
Everywhere. And you can catch me on loveandorgasms.com.
All right.
That's where you can book me for sessions. I offer one-on-one sessions. Basically what I talk about on TV and on interviews, but I personalize the education.
Yeah.
Where people are free to ask me questions and we can just navigate and talk about stuff. I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but I love to listen to people about their experiences. And in my journey, I've picked up a few things, a few skills that I'm sure I can offer. It's time for me to give in a more, real way than just... I don't want for people to feel like they can't access me. Like, mini dem flani uko online mwenye naongeanga vitu. See, let's have these conversations.
Okay.
Reach out to me on loveandorgasms.com and Robertta Bobbie everywhere. When you go on my Instagram, everything is linked. You find my podcast.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. You write stories. You must have a stranger than life fiction, stranger than fiction, something. A story that happened to you that ukiambia wase watasema hizi stories za jaba, but wallahi ili happen. Yes.
It's actually on my blog.
Okay.
Do I remember the title? I can't remember the title, but it's a 6-piece part.
Right.
I think it's called How I Met My Wife or How I Met My Husband, something. I think that's the title. That's actually what made my blog blow up.
Yeah.
It's a 6-part series. I talk about this guy I was dating and I really sensationalized the story. But I think what made people relate was, just in a summary, I ended up finding out this guy was married.
Oh.
And I was so deep into the relationship with him.
Right.
And he ended up proposing to me. It was just a really crazy story, but it's on the blog.
Yeah, I've read it. Please go check it out.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it happened to me when I was really, really young. That's what makes it. But since then, I think I've had really sane partners. My life is a bit more... Yeah.
Ni sawa, sisi wote lazima tupitie hiyo shule. Naona we ni alumni. Kenya Institute of Character Development. Sijali. Lazima kila mtu apitishwe hiyo shule.
Yeah. But the lessons that come with it are very great.
Absolutely.
Like you always emerge out of it
a
better person, way smarter, with much more emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
And you asked my mantra.
Yes.
Very simple. Love yourself. It seems like a statement. If I tell you, feel love yourself. Of course, I love myself, but it goes deeper than that. It's about your habits, the way you treat yourself, the way you talk about yourself, the way you treat other people, the way you show up, the way you smell, the way you go to sleep, what you eat, who you're around. Be very intentional with self. Everything that you allow into your life always projects in your relationships. If you never shower, it'll show.
True.
It'll show. You'd be grumpy, moody, sad, tired, annoyed. If you don't eat well, it'll show.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship with someone who consistently makes you angry, unloved, it'll show. At work, it'll show with how you speak to your mother.
Yeah.
It'll show with how you hang out with your friends. If you're with friends who do not want the best for you, they are consistently diminishing you, it'll always show. So when I say love yourself, I mean in a very wholesome way.
Right.
Be very careful with everything, every little decision you make for yourself. Everything. It could be a stupid joke someone makes. Yeah, budo menona zi. Don't speak about my body like that. Don't speak about anyone's body. Don't allow for such jokes to fly. Feel unakwanga fala. You never even call yourself that.
Yeah.
So why would you let someone make it a joke, even if it's just a joke?
Yeah.
These things, we take them very lightly, but they always affect our subconscious and they always show up in our other relationships.
Absolutely.
So do not allow anyone to treat you less than how you treat yourself. And make sure you have very high standards for everything. Friendships. The women you date, like I said, It's all fun and games when you're sleeping around, but when you go home and you're all alone, you start thinking, I've not even been touched. No one has even asked me how I am today, but I've had sex with 4 women. You have no standards. Have standards and say, I like women who call me after sex. I like women who love to hold me. I like women who touch me, who show me affection. I like women who are very present emotionally. Then go and date exactly that. Usiende madem wenye wanataka do yako alafu unasema, the only thing women want is money. No, it's because you're settling for standards that are lower. So go for exactly what you want. Always date upwards. Love yourself. Choose yourself. Trust yourself. You're the one who knows best whatever it is that you need. You're the one who can make the best decisions for yourself. Close out the noise. Stop listening too much. Unless it's coming from someone that's better than you or has done the things you've done. Just love yourself. You know everything. Everything is here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love yourself. That's how we end it. I am very sure, almost 100% sure, we're going to call you back again for another session because I feel like we'll just...
Tujaongea
manze, because love and orgasms, love and intimacy is such a big conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've just opened, Pandora's box.
This was like a get to know me.
Yeah.
Like, who is she?
Who is she?
Yeah.
So I know CEOs are going to request for you to come back again and we delve into it. And I can't wait for that day. And I really... To. Oh, thank you. I really hope you do come
when
back.
When you DM'd me,
yeah.
I was like, what? I made it, Mom. I made it. Like, what? This is so crazy. Because just being noticed. Unajua watu wa realizingi, and you told me this on the phone call. Post your stuff. You don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
I've seen people posting videos like Snapchats of wako ofisi ya governor. Na wanani watch kwa TV.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, maybe it doesn't mean anything to anyone, but that's the president's office. And they're watching Citizen TV. And I'm on.
Yeah.
Meaning you never really know who's
watching, who's listening.
You don't know who's listening.
That is true.
You have no idea.
That is so true.
So when you reached out, I was definitely I tried to play it cool, like, yeah, who's this? Okay, I didn't say who's this, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I hear you.
But it's such a humbling experience to see what you're putting out really reach people.
Absolutely.
And you can take it for granted, like it's just 10 views, 10,000 views. But let me tell you, even 30 people reading your stuff.
I always say,
it's crazy.
Take those 30 people, put them in this room. Ndio utajua watu ni wengi.
Ni wengi.
Yeah.
Imagine 30 people all cheering. Like, yes, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
CEOs, I can't wait to see what this episode does for us. We're still doing the recordings here at Longonot Place. Beautiful space, booking your staycation. Also, Lukuni by Rajab Karume. Please check out his page on IG. Piga order, manze atakuhook up na look ya CEO on a very affordable budget. Yeah. And Roberta, thank you so much for your time. Sasa, wacha tufungie hiyo class hapo hivyo. Till next time. Bye-bye. That was amazing.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
I love the clap. It made me so excited.